JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, one Don defendant who claims he's only a furniture maker found guilty on 2 counts. Royal Taylor, one of the remaining 26 accused in the ongoing One Don gang trial, was insisted that he's a furniture maker and not a gangster, has been declared guilty by a trial judge, Chief Justice Brian Sykes. Sykes made the pronouncement on Wednesday afternoon. The pronouncement of guilty, which is the first made by the trial judge so far, was done in respect of 2 counts on the indictment, where Taylor was charged with illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition, respectively. Hilton questions cannabis imports from Canada. Opposition spokesperson on industry, investment and global logistics, Anthony Hilton, is expressing serious concerns over the reported decision of Jamaica's Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, to approve the importation of cannabis from Canada into Jamaica. In a statement today, Hilton said he strongly opposed the decision, particularly because several attempts to legally export cannabis and cannabis products from Jamaica to the Canadian market have been met with resistance, including trade barriers. The opposition spokesperson termed the development as alarming. It is on its face inexplicable that the barriers to enter into the Canadian market are such that continuing efforts to export cannabis-related products has been met with a high bar and inability to gain access to that market, he said. Hilton said the decision by the CLA to grant import license for cannabis grown in Canada to be imported into Jamaica deserves a full explanation to the stakeholders in the local industry as to the basis for such a decision. Consequently, he is demanding a quick response from the Portfolio Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Albin Hill, on the agency's decision. Couple escapes gun attack, house set on fire. A couple narrowly escaped death when they were attacked by gunmen who reportedly set their dwelling on fire in Old Green Island, Hanover, Wednesday morning. Police reported that around 1:50 a.m., a man and his girlfriend were at home when he heard strange sounds outside. The man armed himself with a machete, the police said, and was proceeding to the front door when it was suddenly kicked open, and one of several gunmen opened fire at him. The man and his girlfriend was in another room, ran from the house without being injured. It was later discovered that the culprits attempted to burn the building by setting it on fire, but the blaze was extinguished by residents. Police said they found 3 spent shells while processing the scene. No motive has been established for the attack. Rough it out charge for a fake gun. Residents in Cedar Valley, Redwood, St. Catherine, sent a clear message to the public on Tuesday after they effected a citizen's arrest on a man who reportedly attacked one of their own with an imitation firearm. The man, 25-year-old Romario Parker, otherwise called Rough It Out, of Cedar Valley, was subsequently handed over to the police and charged with possession of an imitation firearm. Reports are that about 8:30 a.m., a man was riding his bicycle in the community when he was attacked by Parker with the weapon. A struggle ensued, during which community members ran to the man's assistance and apprehended Parker. The police were summoned, and Parker was handed over to the team and later charged. His court date is being arranged. Skeletal remains found in burnt-out car in St. Elizabeth. Skeletal remains were found in a burnt-out car in Coker District in northern St. Elizabeth on Wednesday morning. A police source confirmed that sometime early morning, passers-by saw the burnt-out vehicle and called the police. The police found the remains inside the car. The deceased has not yet been identified. The body was completely burnt out. Skeletal remains, said the source. Investigations continue. Man found with a gunshot wound near overturned vehicle in Hanover identified. The police have identified the body of a man found outside an overturned vehicle in Hanover on Tuesday. The deceased has been identified as 37-year-old Mark McCourty, a music producer from a Kingston 3 address. Reports from the police are that at around 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday, the police were called to the scene of what residents thought was an accident. However, upon arrival at Bamboo Bottom, Winchester and Green Island, the police realized that they were dealing with a murder scene. McCourty was found lying on his back with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the head near an overturned sports utility vehicle. The police, who are currently investigating the matter, said there are no breakthroughs or motives in the case. Whitfield Avenue man escapes death. A male resident of Whitfield Avenue in St. Andrew was allegedly awaiting a taxi to get to work, escaped death on Tuesday afternoon when gunmen traveling in a motor vehicle opened fire at him, firing close to 20 rounds. It was not clear how many of the shots caught the man who was injured during the incident, at the intersection of Whitfield and Maxfield Avenues, but up to this afternoon, his condition was not believed to be life-threatening. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit confirmed that the incident occurred but was unable to provide any details. The incident occurred in the midst of operations being carried out by police and military personnel close by in sections of Maxfield Avenue, including Russell Road and Sunlight Street. One man said he was picking ackee from a tree when the shots rang out, prompting him to jump from a branch to the ground. I chuck out when he shot them start fire. When me come down, me tell one man say him can get to me pick because me nobody want no ackee. It was a whole heap of shot. At first, people did think such soldiers did on foot and saw gunmen engage him in a shootout. People pass the youth out on the front. He's a man who go work more time, so him take taxi. Him auntie upset to them because she just give him $1,000 to pay him taxi fare and never expect. Say when I do out on the road so long. When we hear the shot, nobody that look for see him anywhere near us, the resident claimed. One elderly man who was hanging out on the street said he had to leave his slippers behind when the barrage of gunshots began. He said the moment was so intense, he had to check to ensure he himself had not been shot. I hear some stump on the sidewalk and they shot them just a whistle past me. All one policeman stayed on the road and hear the bullets in my whistle past him location. Me have to run out of my slippers because all me could hear was ping ping. When me get up off of the ground, me think so me get shot. Thankfully, me never get shot, he said. Another resident described the apparent target as a top man whose presence on the front page presented an opportunity for people who didn't like him to try and gun him down. A top man them want, and once it's a top man them a go fire enough shot, the resident said. In a separate incident, less than 100 meters north of where the shooting occurred, residents of Sunlight Street complained that their houses were raided before dawn by policemen who ransacked their belongings during an operation. The residents said the police spent roughly 8 hours searching the community, going from house to house. One man who was taken away by a lawman and processed before being released claimed that the lawmen engaged in bullying. Them not have no other purpose other than the fact that them don't like Sunlight Street. Them treat us like rubbish. Them beat you up for nothing at all and carry us the processing and then bring us out back. These police are some young youth walking around with rifles. Them say one of a cuss bad and them a cuss bad that way. The man them make it look like a gunman alone live here. Me a sleep and them drape me up and haul me out of my bed. And all me a try tell him to calm down and go easy. Them still feeling on everything in my house, said the man. St. James man charged after alleged shootout with police. Detectives assigned to the St. James Police Division have arrested and charged 21-year-old Kirky Lawson, a labourer of Hendon, Norwood, in relation to a police shooting that took place on Lightbody Avenue in the parish on Saturday, February 18. Lawson was charged with wounding with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, and 2 counts of shooting with intent. Reports are that about 9:50 p.m., lawmen were on operation in the area when they saw Lawson walking along the roadway. His actions arose their suspicion, and upon their approach, Lawson reportedly opened gunfire at the police team, who returned fire. During the exchange of gunfire, one of the members of the police team was shot. The officer was taken to hospital for treatment. Lawson later turned up at hospital with a gunshot wound and was subsequently placed under police guard. He was charged on Tuesday, February 28, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. Shooting off grandmother and grandchild linked to gang feud. The police believe the shooting and wounding of a grandmother and her grandson in Elshaw Park, Portmore, St. Catherine on Saturday stemmed from an ongoing gang feud between the Rasta City and Gigi Town gangs in the area. According to a police source, Saturday's incident is theorized to be in retaliation for the murder of Anthony Smith less than 24 hours earlier. Smith is alleged to have been aligned to the Gigi Town gang. According to the police, about 3:10 a.m., the 64-year-old woman and her 12-year-old grandson were lying in their bed when they heard a loud banging on the front door of their house. Shortly after, explosions were heard coming from their bedroom window. They shouted for help, and neighbors came to their rescue, where it was discovered that a bullet had grazed the elderly woman's abdomen, and the boy received gunshot wounds to the chest and belly. The police were summoned, and both victims were assisted to the Spanish Town Hospital, where they were admitted. The grandmother has since been treated and released, while her grandson, who underwent surgery, was said to be in serious but stable condition. The police, believing further violence was highly likely, subsequently imposed a curfew in the area, which is not known for the type of violence that rocked the community last weekend. NHT pays out millions to Ruthven Towers residents affected by flood. The National Housing Trust NHT has had to pay out just under $50 million to owners of vehicles damaged by flooding at the Ruthven Towers. 14 vehicles were damaged when the basement parking area of the NHT development was flooded in November last year. During Wednesday morning's sitting of the Standing Finance Committee, Managing Director of the NHT, Martin Magnus Miller fielded questions on the flooding at the complex. Miller said about $44 million in claims have so far been settled, while 3 claims are still to be completed. He said the NHD has taken steps to ensure that there is no recurrence of the flooding. The entity has redesigned the entrance of the apartment building and will be replacing the current gate with a wall to prevent floodwaters from entering the property. The construction of the wall will begin in about 3 weeks. Another entrance to Ruthven Towers will be available at the completion of a second phase of the apartment complex. Miller said the issues that were brought to light by Ruthven Towers residents after the flooding have been satisfactorily addressed. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.